Hi guys, welcome back. So now what we are going to do is we are going to do lab number 2, and lab number 2 is phase 1 with, and let me edit it, dynamic mapping. So in this time we will not do the whole configuration because we do not need to do the whole configuration. We will try to see what's going on, how we did lab 1, and how we can modify our lab 1 to be part of lab number 2. Before we change, we will do another one, and we'll say this one is phase 1 dynamic mapping. Okay, so we'll add it to our this one, and then we will add it to this guy. So here we go. So if you look at how the current setup is right now, we are using NHRP, right? NHRP is the next hop resolution protocol, and we are using it inside our tunnel 1 interface, and based on that NHRP map, as you can see, we are doing a static mapping, and that static mapping is coming in as, if we look, show IP NHRP, right? So this is how the setup is, that everything is never expired and it's all good, right? The most important thing to note here is that the hub site, the router 1, which is our hub site, is going to be configured as a GRE multi-point, and all other sites are going to be configured as point-to-point. And by default, in the Cisco world, if you create a tunnel, it's a point-to-point GRE tunnel. So if you want to verify that, you can say include GRE, so you can say the tunnel protocol and transport is GRE IP. And if you look at the same command on router 1, you will see that we have multi-GRE here, right? So this is the most important thing to note here. In the phase 1, your hub is a multi-point GRE, and your spokes are nothing but a simple point-to-point GRE tunnels. So in the second lab, what the objective is to have a dynamic mapping. So right now these are static mapping. Now when we talk about dynamic mapping, from spoke to hub and to hub to spoke, okay? So spoke to hub is always static. We have to define something so that the spoke side will go towards the hub. On the hub side, we can say, okay, we don't know where the spokes are, so we will let the spokes register to us. You can use authentication and other stuff, which is part of. We are doing really simple lab. We're just trying to make sure that we understand the concept and we know that this is how it's going to be set up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the NHRP static maps from the hub. That's the first thing I'm going to do. So inside tunnel 1, I would say for each of these ones, right? For each of these ones, I would say no. And then the last one, I will also copy paste it. So you can see that I have done no. So now if I say show run interface tunnel 1, so in phase 1 with dynamic mapping, this is the complete configuration needed on the hub site. This is the complete configuration needed for the hub site. Now what is then required on the client side, right? What is required? So remember, we are using next hop resolution protocol, right? So next hop resolution protocol, the purpose of the next hop resolution protocol is like an ARP, but from the non-broadcast multi-access IP to a local IP, the tunnel IP. That's how they are related. Not like in simple ARP where MAC and IP are related. Here we have NBMA address, which is the public address, mapped to the local tunnel address, right? So this is the idea behind NHRP. So right now, if you look at the show IP NHRP, right now we have nothing, right? Because our spokes doesn't know where to go. What our spokes know, if I look at the tunnel 1 command, what our spokes know, that they have an IP on the tunnel. They know the source and they know the destination, so they can reach the destination. They have one mapping. So if I look at show IP NHRP, the mapping is still there. So there's no doubt about this thing, that they don't have the mapping. They still have the mapping, right? But now what we want when we say dynamic, what we want these spokes to contact the hub dynamically and register themselves there. To do so, we just need to add one more command, and that command is the next hop server command in NHRP. So if we go inside the tunnel, and if we say MIP NHRP NHS, and we have to provide the IP address of the NHS server. Now that IP address of NHS server is going to be the tunnel IP, okay, not the NBMA address, but the tunnel address. So we know that our tunnel address for NHS is 1. So now if I press this, and now if I look at show IP NHRP, nothing changed here. But if you go on router 1 and do the command again, we can see that now router 2 has been registered. See, so this is one command, guys, one command. So what we have to learn one command at a time, and we need to understand what that command is doing. So if I go on router 3 and I say IP NHRP NHS 10 1 2 3 4 1, I have to go to tunnel 1, tunnel 1, and I do this. So I can write here, I can write here, I can write here, and on 4th, let's do it on 4th. IP NHRP NHS 10 1 2 3 4 4. So now the change what we see here is on router 1. So if we go on router 1 and do show IP NHRP, now we have 3 spokes registered. And if we go and look at show DMVPN, we can see that we have 3. It was there too, but there was no up and down time. When you have static, when you have dynamic, you will have up and down time, right? So D is dynamic, this is the tunnel address, this is the NBMA address, and state is up. So everything is good. So everything is good means that now we can reach the tunnel endpoints. So it means that from router 4, if we test it, we can go to 10.1.234.1, right? We can go to 2, but again, remember, this is the same procedure. It is going to hit the hub first, always. No matter how many times I try, it will always go to the hub. So your voice traffic or anything, this is going to be impacted. So this is not a good solution. Yes, if you want to hold up, let's say you want to hold up the internet, you want to make sure that every traffic should pass, and you have the resources on the hub side, then this is a very good solution. You can keep that solution. So this is our lab 2. This is a very simple basic lab in which we have the phase 1 with dynamic mapping, and we know that what is dynamic mapping and what's the difference between them. So I'm gonna do the export of this one just to show you guys that now if you look at the startup config, once it's done, exporting all started, so it's all done. So if I look at phase 1, right, and router 1 is the one where we have the basic change. If you look at the tunnel interface, which should be there, if you look at the tunnel interface, I made a mistake, so no problem, I can fix that. What's in the dynamic mapping? Oh, I might forgot to put it. I can fix that, not a problem. Okay, so I made a poo-poo here, so I need to fix it. So I'll fix it. Not a big issue. I have to do this. That this is the one I want to use, and I will export one more time, and then you will see the effect. Export all is starting. Export all done. Export all done. Let's go to startup. This is dynamic mapping. I should have phase 1 dynamic, right? On the phase 1 static mapping, I made a mistake here. So let's see what we have here. What I can do, it's very simple, you know, that's what I like about it. I can go up. That's the configuration I deleted. So what I can do, I can take this, I can come here, I can move here, and I can go and see no IP redirects. So I can just paste. Can't I edit? There should be editor. There you go. I'm gonna paste it and I'm gonna save it, and I will make sure that router 2 doesn't have NHS value. That's the only difference we made. So I do not want this guy in, right? And I will save it. So this way I have to do a bit of work because I think I pressed it and it never took it. This happens sometimes, no worries. So I'm gonna copy, no, not copy, select, delete, and save. Okay, and router 4. So I do not have to do it on the devices. I'm gonna do it inside the configuration, which is fine. So there's nothing wrong with router 5. Router 5 we are not changing, so that is fine. So now my configuration is as is. So we have done phase 1 static and phase 1 dynamic mapping. The next lab which we are going to do is phase 2 is static mappings. Phase 2 static mappings, right? So I can say here I'm gonna do phase 2 static mapping, and I'm gonna save it. So that will be a next video. The reason why I'm making a small video so that you guys can enjoy it, you guys can look at it in the leisure of your time. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.